up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Count blessings, yeah, you know we pray up.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, and welcome to Rock and Jess World, the podcast series where we talk about love, God, and relationships. I am Rock.
And I am Jess. And today's episode, we're going to be talking about communication and relationship and its importance. What do you think about that?
Communication and relationships and their wait, say that again. I think I got that a little backwards. What'd you say?
Communication and its importance within a relationship.
Communication and its importance in relationships. In a relationship. Well, I guess it's important in all relationships, wouldn't it be?
Yes, any kind of relationship.
Any kind of relationship,
not just communicating with.
Not just marriage, but in all relationships. I guess that would make a big difference. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Just looking at me like that, which was a form of communication. Oh, we're going to talk about it today. We going to talk about Jess and her communication today.
Let's do it.
All right. So how important is good? Before we get to that, I don't want to talk about that first.
Okay.
I got to talk about this because I saw this the other day and it made me want to talk about it. I brought it up to Jess and we just said we're going to talk about it. I didn't know. But according to research, ongoing communication difficulties are the number one reason couples divorce in the United States. According to one study, 67.5, got to put that 0.5 in there, percent of marriages that ended did so primarily due to communication problems. Communication is the foundation of a successful relationship. I don't know. I'm having a little problem reading. I'm communicating that I'm not reading well.
It's all right, but I got you.
I could not believe that it. Well, I couldn't believe it, but I yet do believe that it is one of the number one problems.
Yeah.
I think that it is one of the number one problems that is not shed a lot of light on how important it is that you communicate. We all communicate, right?
Yes.
We all communicate.
Yes, in some form or fashion.
In some form or fashion.
Yes.
Now, what kind of communication that is, I believe, is the most important aspect of the thing.
That matters.
So these people wasn't. These people were not just communicating; they were communicating poorly.
Yes.
Because communication, we were talking about this the other day, just when we were talking about, me and Jess were just talking about that. Communication is kind of like a two-way street.
It is.
I mean, it's not kind of like, it is absolutely a two-way street. But when you really, really look at it, communication is like a interstate highway, where it's about 5 lanes on both sides.
Yep. And you may or may not know where you're going.
Right. One lane is working fine, but you got something else that ain't working fine.
Yes,
it's just kind of like the person when you ask them, hey, you like this? And they say, yeah, but their head shaking no.
Right, yeah.
So you looking like, wait, what's really going on? So communication, I said that the other day, and I just got to really thinking on it. You know me, we talk, and stuff just began to marinate with me. And I was just saying it's a two-way street, but it's really like an interstate highway. We're doing so much communication when we're talking.
Yes. Body language, your eye contact, just how you present yourself.
If you're smiling,
right?
If you got them shifty eyes.
One word can mean something totally different if your body language is off.
Them shifty eyes.
Hands got communication.
What they say, you know how people squint their eyes when they start finally realizing stuff?
Yes. Right.
Well, we want to talk about communication, but I think in communication, because that is the truth. Communication is very, very important, but not only is it important, what's important about it is good communication. Mm-hmm. Good communication. Say that with me, Jess. Good communication. Let's pronounce all the syllables. Good.
Good.
Okay, we're being silly. But anyway, good communication is very important.
Yes.
So how important would you say good communication is, Jess? How important?
It's number one, especially when you're trying to get your opinion, fact, or cause across to someone else.
Right.
And then you got to consider, so many things to consider. It's not just talking. You got to consider who you're talking to, who's receiving this information, what qualifications do they have for this conversation or communication. You have to consider all those things: age, language barriers, everything.
I got to give it to you, Jess, on that. I'm gonna give it to you because you said qualifications. Everybody's not. So you mean to tell me? Because I'm gonna bring it up. Just going into that, everybody's not qualified for every level of communication.
That's correct.
And I get it that you know we always try to spell things out when we're around the kids.
Yes.
You know, you saying them good old words.
Right.
Yeah, Jess be saying some good old words. I'm gonna tell
I'm
you.
sure I say all the words.
But so when you're saying that, when you're saying those words, and we just saying, I wanted to go back to that because you said people who qualify for it.
Yes.
I'm gonna make this reference here because it goes to the beginning, and you know I love the Bible. We both love the Bible. I look at creation when God created man. He created man, made him wonderful. He did, you know, and then God said it is. He said everything is good. But then he comes right back and said that there is one thing that is not good. It is not good for man to be alone, right? And we know the whole story. He created Eve, different things of that. You know, it came down to that, to them eating from the tree, and then the communication started.
Yes. And the bad communication.
And the bad communication, the blame game. This woman you gave me, you know, and which is that communication. The truth of the matter is he wasn't disagreeing when they was right there doing what they. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just looking at that, how important is good communication? Jess said a mouthful there. Communication is important, but not only is it important, we need to understand the time and place.
Yep, for sure.
Oh,
Yes.
so you could actually have good communication and the timing be bad.
Yep, you can.
All
And
right.
the place be bad.
I'm gonna explain what I mean by that because me and Jess are very highly involved in ministry. Right, I'm gonna tell you this. Anybody we're not only are we highly involved in ministry, we're highly involved in business and everything. Right, and so there are sometimes some things that come up that just be left out in the left field, you know. And we have already agreed that we will not allow this right here to show that we may be a little disgusted, not only with other people, but maybe even with each other.
That's right.
It's just, oh no.
Like, let the smile feel full.
No, it's been some times where Jess was upset with me or I was upset with her. But the thing is that I believe communication, there has to be a level of respect.
Yes.
Respecting when to communicate certain things.
Yes. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. In the middle of an argument, you don't want to say certain things.
Right.
Sometimes shutting it down is important.
And so you're getting us into the next thing, which is the conflict. I don't want to go there yet.
Okay.
I don't want to go there yet. But so we're talking about the communication and you know, how important is good communication, which is what we're talking about right now. I believe that it's very important. Matter of fact, I'm going to go even further. It's essential. It is critically important. Good communication. Good communication. Now, here's the thing about communication. Communication is really, I won't say that it has a clear-cut definition because it does until you put it inside of a relationship, inside of a marriage.
Yes.
Then there are some things that you can do within the sanctuary, if you would, of that relationship that you can't do everywhere. There are things that you can say, a way that you can say it. That's why some people, you know, of different races get in trouble for words that they articulate at their homes.
Right. Yes.
And people find out they've been saying that at home. And nobody would ever believe they would talk like that.
Right.
It's because people have a different level of communication within the sanctuary of home, within the sanctuary of marriage, that they don't give everybody else. And it's like what Jess was saying, what you said so eloquently, which is people. What you see how I communicated that?
I love
you see
it.
how I did that? which is to say that everybody doesn't qualify for all levels of communication.
That's right. They don't.
Everybody doesn't qualify for all levels of communication. So it's very important. It's critically important. But what's more important than that is knowing what that communication is. We have to define.
Gotta know your audience.
I hope. Yes. Oh, come on, Jess.
Gotta know your audience.
Come on. If I was in church, I wish I had an organ. You got to know your audience. You got to know your audience. So if I'm talking to Jess, I got to know, you know, what that is, what I'm good at, because I don't want to be disrespectful just because you're my wife. It don't mean I could be reckless with what I say, how I say it.
Correct.
And being a man don't mean I'm telling her what to do all the time. Sometimes communication is giving that love, because if she knows that I'm finna get into a whole nother thing here,
Get into it.
I already feel it. I already feel it. All right. So when we're talking about communication, we have to understand ladies can recognize what real quick when it's coming from your heart, when it's coming from your mind. We battle here. Men battle from here. Heart, mind. Most of us men gonna be straight mental. I said what I said.
Yes.
That woman sitting there like, oh, you did. You said you said what you said. Who you think you talking to around here?
Right.
And next thing you know, your food been ready a whole hour, but you're sitting on the table cold because you said what you said. I'm just saying that happens. That happens, which is another level of communication. And we haven't got into the bad parts of communication, but that whole tit for tat is the devil.
Yes, yes, it is.
Because it's unending.
It doesn't resolve.
It is tit for tat. Don't stop.
Yes, just continues the plight.
Oh my God! It just keep on going and going. Somebody got to be like, all right, let's chill, because this is getting to be a bit much. I'm sorry for what I did, what I said. It is what it is. I said what I said.
It's like you still mean it.
Didn't mean it like that. I'm tired of these cold meals.
Right.
I'm tired of these cold meals. So I just believe the communication, like you said, you have to know your audience. But even in a relationship, that is really, really important. You have to not only know your audience, you have to know your atmosphere.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
You got to know your atmosphere. You got to know who. You got to know your atmosphere. There's a way that I communicate with Jess that is exclusively reserved for our special places. I don't give that to everybody. Should I? Wait a minute.
Girl. I'm seeing where this is going.
I saw you pausing like, wait, what is he going to say?
You just never know it, Rock. Just say anything. So,
I was speaking from my heart, Jess. I was speaking from my heart. You didn't feel my heart in that? You got nervous?
I felt it.
She got nervous. So communication is very, very important. How you communicate, how you and me and Jess, transparent moment. We're gonna go through a transparent moment and give you a little marriage coffee right here. Which is, and we like to, marriage coffee is a part of what we do. If you follow any of our social medias, you'll notice on our stories and our reels, we'll talk about marriage. We'll talk about relationships. We talk about it through the marriage coffee. We talk about it through that. But one of the things, and just to give you all this right here, is that when we communicate, it is highly important for us to understand that and understand who you're talking to. Jess said it earlier about the qualifications. I think that is a wonderful thing, but it doesn't stop there. It doesn't just stop there, because there's bad communication out there. We have to learn one another. We have to learn one another, know one another, and be willing to submit to that.
Yes. Why are you looking like that?
Because I know
I saw that.
I didn't necessarily. I wasn't necessarily doing that to you, but I know that a lot of guys make that whole submit thing, horrible. And when I say that submit thing, the Bible does tell the wife to submit to the husband.
Yes.
And most guys only know their scripture. Woman submit. Was to submit to me, and a immature. I'll say that's the way it's pronounced. Immature brother will take that submit and think that it means to do what I say without explanation. Just do what I say. That's not the truth. When God told the man to love the wife as Christ loves the church. All right. So we have to understand. We have to understand what's going on there. Submission is actually an act of the heart, because a lady doesn't mind submitting. A wife doesn't mind submitting. Now, notice I'm saying a wife. I had to move away from lady and say a wife. My wife is a lady. But if y'all in boyfriend, girlfriend land, y'all need to level up, because this don't apply to you. But in marriage, that was heavy.
It was.
But in marriage, submission is an act of the heart. Most ladies will submit when the man is loving her right. Now, we're talking about communication.
Yes.
We're talking about communication. If you loving her right, she'll do things that she said she would never do. I ain't clipping no nails. I ain't rubbing no elbows. That's how Jess talk. No,
I'm sure it's not.
I'm not shoveling no snow. I'm not changing no alternators. You know, ladies, I ain't taking out no trash. I don't know who he think I am, but if he loving you right, you'll reconsider that trash.
That's for sure.
If he loving you right, you'll be out there
You're a complete
with
team.
all stains on your white dress,
You're not
changing
a
the
you and
alternator.
You become a team
You become a
when
team.
you're loved right.
Yeah, when you love right. But love is an act of communication.
It is.
Because you can't just say love. You got to
Yep.
walk at that
You
level
have to
of what
walk
you're
in it.
saying.
Yep.
Your feet got to line up with your mouth.
Yes.
Your feet got to line up with your mouth. And
Always.
all-
Not sometimes.
Come on, talk. Just say it. Come on, talk. Talk about that. All the
Yes, all the
consistently.
time. Like even if you're having a bad day, your bad day should not reflect any decline in love for the
Ooh.
person.
Even on a bad day. All right, because we're gonna talk about love one day a little bit deeper, because we love to go into love and talk
Love,
about
love,
love.
love.
We do. So I mean, just looking at that, Jess, what would you say? How? Because we wanted to get into that earlier. Communication in disagreements, because we kind of alluded to it a little bit, but let's enlarge upon it now. Communication in disagreement. I know you didn't do that. I know you didn't say nothing about my mama. I know we don't do that. Both of our mothers have passed on. We're not the type, but there is a couple out there that probably doing that. Yo,
Yes.
mama
Always
always
in our business.
in our business. Ooh, that's
Telling
like the
her
number.
everything.
That's the number one thing. Ain't it? You wonder why the mama looking at him upside his head, because you done told her stuff you shouldn't have said.
Keep your marriage inside your marriage. That is so helpful.
I thought you was gonna say this because I felt it. Keep your marriage out of other folks' mouths.
Yes.
They should know
Yes.
what's inside of your home.
They should not.
That's why they call marriage a sanctuary.
Yes. And that needs to be defined. I think that needs to be part of the marriage vows.
Yes. Sanctuary, the place of protection, the place of renewing, recalibration,
Yes.
the place of honesty.
Yes.
That just came to me. That felt
I
good.
like it.
That felt
use
good.
it again sometime.
If I can remember it, we got the video, we got
Yeah.
the audio. We'll go back and rewind it.
That's right.
But sanctuary is very, very important, and most folk have a problem because they have leaks in their relationship. Those
Yes.
are leaks. Those leaks many times are when you start telling folk your business,
Yeah. And then you leave it at that, and then you guys made up, but
Ooh.
they're still there.
and they still looking like girl. Girl, I don't know. Then the other friends start talking about y'all issues once y'all have moved on and gotten better. I'm
Yeah.
very careful with that. Very careful with
And
that.
let me bring a correction to something, because I know I see you keep referring to females, males, and their friends.
No, I'm not
Y'all
gonna check
have your
that.
own.
Men are always
way of
right.
saying, leave that girl alone. Oh, you don't need this. Let's go out. Nope. Men have it too.
Yes, men do, and I apologize if I wasn't. I was kind of leaning pretty heavy on the ladies. I was, but you men can be boys too.
They can.
They can be boys, and they can be boys in conflict resolution. So conflict resolution, I won't say conflict resolution. We try not to say conflict, but it is what it is. Some people fighting, slapping each other, cutting each other, and going on. How do you? I don't even know how to do a relationship
That's
like
too
that.
far. That's way.
Listen, if
if
you
it's
pull
that
out-
far, this time ago.
If you pulling out a gun on me, I got to reassess. I got to reassess some things.
Yes.
Why we got guns?
Right.
And where you get this from?
Where'd you even get this?
And the knife? Why is the knife next to my neck? I don't need no shade.
Right.
I could just go to the barber shop. So with disagreements, I think that even in disagreements, it's still a two-way street. Still a two-way street. And if you are respectful, I think what makes communication bad in disagreements is when you can't hear the other person at least respect what they're saying.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
When you can't respect what they're saying, what do you mean by respecting what they're saying? You can't even try to understand where they're coming from.
You don't want to.
Don't want to.
Another
That's
thing.
stupid. That is
Yeah.
no. Don't do that, because you're fanning the flames of a potential fire. Just start out as a little warm,
Yeah.
then a few sparks get on it, and then you get to that, and the other person feel like they're not being heard. Then it fans those flames.
Yep.
Makes it really, really bad. Oh,
I think the breakdown can spiral faster than the than the resolution, of course. I mean, that breakdown that fire burns, and then there's nobody to put it out.
Yeah, and you sitting there, both of y'all on fire, trying to talk with fire in your mouth. You know that's a bad, because then you start saying things you can't take back.
Right. Yep.
When y'all should have just took a break.
Yes.
Now, let's differentiate between taking a break and the silent treatment. What is that? Okay, so I'll explain since you laughing.
Well,
Go ahead and say.
Taking a break and a silent treatment
versus the silent treatment.
The silent treatment is just another form of bad communication. Taking a break means you equally agree that we are not getting anywhere, so why don't we take our time, get ourselves together, and reapproach.
Right.
Silent treatment is another part of getting back at the other.
Did you say another porn? What'd you say?
Point. I said point.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. So you are right, because one, I think this is the key to both of them. Silent treatment is involuntary. It's usually there to make a point. To say, what is the other one? Silent treatment and taking a break. Taking a break is usually agreed upon as a team. Yeah, this is getting let's chill out. Even if because you could just agree, nah, y'all already see the field of flames building. We're going to pause right here.
Yes.
We're going to pause right here, and we're going to come back to this once we can think clearly. When we can keep the issue. I think many times with the reason that conflicts can't be resolved, disagreements can't be resolved, is because the issue has become clouded.
Yes.
It's become clouded. The past has become weaponized.
Yes.
You know, you did this, you did that. That's not good. And you won't ever get to a real resolution by weaponizing the past, allowing the past to become a weapon to hit your person with. And I'm going to go even further, and I'll say this right here, and this means a lot to me, is that the reason that I don't like when it turns into tit for tat, or when I like when it's making a point, I'm making this point, well, you did this or you did that. The reason I don't like that is because it turns into a game. And games can only have one winner.
Yeah.
Then you start keeping points.
Yeah.
And you start remembering stuff. You start hearing stuff like this around the house. Oh, I ain't said nothing. You good? I say this because women to do this. Women to do this.
Yeah.
I gotta say this. Women to do this. Man, mess up. And he gonna hear her say, "Tasha, don't say nothing." She call her own name. Tasha, girl, don't say nothing. You know, it's all good. Just hold your peace.
Who have you been around?
I'm just listen. I've seen it. They got this spirit of encouraging themselves. Encourage yourself.
That's not in the Lord.
You know, but it's just, keep it point. Then he got to walk around here like, dang, I know that's going to come up later on.
Right.
When I think that there needs to be a level of surrender in conversation.
On both sides.
On both sides.
Yes.
Both sides having a level of surrender.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not perfect. I know you're not perfect. I want to hear what you have to say. So I'm going to stop talking to you, communicate what you want to communicate. Interrupting dismisses that whole thing. So we have to be open and honest. I'm going to let you speak. Then I'll talk when you're done, and we're not going to interrupt each other. We're going to respect each other's feelings. I know. Why does that sound easier said than done?
Because it is easier said than done.
Yeah, it is.
Everybody has an opinion.
And you want to drop it then.
Insert here.
Or you be sitting over there like this.
Right.
No, you keep going. Just waiting on your turn.
Yes. Yeah.
That could end up being something too. Wow.
Yes.
But I believe that the thing is that both couples, I won't say both couples, both people in the relationship should, at a good time, wouldn't you say this? At a good time, figure out how to handle disagreements. I think that conversation needs to be had.
Yes. Especially so that you so you cancel some things before they happen, so you don't get that far.
It's a preventative method.
Yes.
You're being. Some people do it to reactively go get counseling. They do it because they done had an argument. They almost killed each other and it went real bad. So let's get counseling. But then there is a preventative aspect. We're going to talk about when this happens, we're both going to do this, because she's been honest with me that she feels this way when I say this. So if I know she feels that way when I say this, I'm not going to say that to that degree. I'm going to change that. Then the blessing of it all is when the communication starts and there's a disagreement. You both hear each other purposely navigating certain ways, and you like, this person really loved me because they didn't do what I expect. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
You feel the love when
changes.
you've already told them, and then you see them abiding by that. Oh, I'm gonna say what I got to say, but I'm gonna remember everything you told me too, because I need you to hear me.
Yes. You want to be heard.
Yeah, so and that's the thing.
So you respect the conversation.
Oh my goodness, you don't feel like you got to bust your, feel like you got to bust out your shirt, just to be heard. But I just looking at all of that, let's go to this right here, because we done talked about communication with disagreement. How next thing I want to talk about and ask about, how willing do you think people need to be a student of their spouse's communication?
How willing?
Yeah,
that's just as much as being being communicators. This is number 1 too.
Right.
1.2.
So yeah. So sitting there and learning, paying attention.
Yes.
Because in order to do that, you got to pay attention.
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You got to pay attention. When they talk, you got to listen to them. You got to see what matters to them, what doesn't matter to them. Learn when they're being triggered.
Yes. And also understand yourself when you may not feel like you're hearing something correctly. Being okay to ask questions.
Right. So you have to be a student of your own emotion.
Yes. You know yourself more than that person. So.
Right. So it's not good to just tell people, well, that's just the way I am. No, that don't have to be the way you are.
It can't be.
I don't agree when people say that. That's just the way I am. Listen, you ain't got to be like that. You could also be dead. You could be imprisoned. You could be a lot of things. But why do you want to be like that? Why don't you change that? How about that? If you continue being like that, we're not going to be able to be what we want to be or get to where we want to get to as quick as we want to get there if we don't fix that.
Yes.
Does it make sense?
Yes. But say it in a nice way.
So, love, listen. I notice when we do this right here, it always leads to this right here, and I don't want to go down that road. I really want this to be good. I want you to be good. I want to be good. And I want to make sure that you understand that I respect your feelings, and I want to make sure that you're being heard. So with that said, let's not do this, and this. And if you're in agreement, tell me, help me, teach me how to make sure that I don't, push you down that way, because I know what you want. You want us to be successful, and I want us to be successful. And so this may be those sacrificial things that we need to do together to give up those old feelings that's causing us to be set back. So let's give that up, because we want to go forward. And so that if that means we got to stretch our emotions, stretch ourselves to come out of some stinking thinking, emotional drama that we have, I'm willing to give that up because I love you, and love is sacrifice, and that's going to be the level of love that I show you so that we can be great, Jessica.
Oh my God, I was so into that. And that is why we're rocking Jess.
All right.
That.
Yeah. Did you? So what would? Okay, I want to go and put you on that good old spot and talk about. But I'm not going to do you like that. I'm not going to do you like that.
God.
But we have to be willing to be students of our spouses.
Yes.
I have to be, and I tell Jess all the time. Yeah, I'm learning you.
Yeah.
I got to learn you. I don't know. I don't know who you are, but I know who you are. But as you're learning yourself emotionally.
Yes. And I can change.
Yes.
We change. The point of life is to grow and better yourself. So I'm not going to be that same person I was million years ago that I am now. So growing a relationship causes everybody to take those steps to be a consistent teacher, consistent learner of each other.
Right. That is really true. And just looking at it, I was just thinking about it. You said it. We so much on the same wavelength right here, because you can change. I believe that is where the problem comes in with the communication. It's feeling like just because somebody was like that when you first married them and next year they're a little different. Listen, you need to give somebody the right to change. Emotionally, people go through things, they experience things, and they may change up. They may change up what they used to like, what they used to really enjoy.
Yeah, and what used to bother me today may not bother me tomorrow.
Right, we're growing.
Yeah.
We're growing, and that's what's going to happen. We're growing. Oh, it's just so much thought flowing through me right now. Because I was thinking about, well, how do people grow apart? We're going to talk about that on another show.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that on another show because I have some thoughts that will blow your mind about people growing apart. And I'm so tempted to just dip in. I'm not going to dip in it. That's a whole nother podcast.
Gotta wait. Gotta be patient.
Yeah. But that's the thing that I wanted. You said it best, and you've really been hitting it. Growth. People change.
Yeah.
They change.
Yeah.
You can't expect her when she was your girlfriend and y'all got married newlywed, after she done had them kids, 2-3 kids, she gonna be a little different, player.
Yeah, because she's learned some few other personalities that she had to train herself to be okay with.
Right. And I think too that even in a relationship, don't think, because I brought the kids up, don't think that because your spouse has had children that life is over. I believe that there are some with the mature ladies, after they have children, they become more creative and become more soldiers.
Yeah.
They can handle you and them kids.
Multitask.
Oh no, they can bless you still. The quality is just greater. All right, let me move on from that. All right, so we thank God. Yes. For His many blessings. So communication, that's what we're talking about, because it's really, really important. Communication, how willing we are to be students of our spouse's communication. What else do you have to say on that, Jess? Just communication in general.
Well, like I said, being qualified for communication, depending on who you're talking to. I know we're going over relationships at this time, so we'll just stick to that for now. But yeah, being consistent, students, maybe you need safe words if you can't come up with a way to stop talking.
Safe word.
You need some outlet to say we are not getting there, so let's just stop. I mean, whatever that is for you as a couple, you need to define that prior to any argument. And I would say even if you have like some difficulties getting to, maybe you've had this conversation and you had another disagreement. It's okay if you need to go back to the conversation and do it again.
Right.
And say, what can we change this time? This didn't work.
You're right. That is good. I think having those conversations.
Yes.
I think it's very important not to wait. Mm-hmm. Because it's going to come. Trials will come.
Yes.
Situations will come. Stuff going to pop up. And I think it's always good. People always say, why are we talking about that? That ain't happening. No. You're actually preparing yourself. It's like practicing. Mm-hmm. It's like practicing. When you have those things that happen to you, you've already kind of talked about it. So you have an idea of where you need to go and how you need to navigate in this situation.
Yes. Because everybody wants to, when you're talking to somebody, you want to feel like you can trust the receiver with what you're going to say, because you're about to be vulnerable right now. You're about to be open. You're about to be transparent. You need that honesty to be able to speak and not fear.
How important is it when someone is being, because you just brought up vulnerability, and I think it's very important within communication. And I think the reason so many people lie is because the person that they are in a relationship doesn't allow them to have a safe space to express a mistake that they made.
Yeah.
So they lie.
Yes.
Because they don't want to deal with the consequences of what they did.
Yes.
Because there's no safe space. You know what?
And lies can be an omission too. Not saying anything.
I don't want to say just don't want to deal with the consequences, because I don't think in many cases it's not about the consequences. It's just about all the drama that's got to go on.
Yes.
They see that as, people can see that as a consequence.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. And it just, just go all dramatic, and then people end up lying. Mm-hmm. Because lying is a level of communication.
It is.
Deception, manipulation.
Yep. Yeah.
That's a level of communication that is oftentimes, I think it's oftentimes talked about. If you go by social media and what you see on social media, as far as what you need to do in a relationship, or you gonna run with fear, thinking that people just want to cheat on you.
Yeah.
That's all you gonna think. I mean, honestly, that's all that he slept with somebody else, she slept with somebody else. I don't want my man over there looking at. He better not be liking no pictures. Social media can really get you thrown off on that.
Yeah. And destruct your communication.
It could warp your communication. Yes. It can warp your
especially if you think that's how a relationship should be.
Yes.
If you get your tips from Facebook, social media.
You got me nervous just then. Getting your tips from Lord.
I'm like, let me watch this video. Oh, okay, this is how the couple should be. Let me do that. Let me put that in my relationship.
Please don't be getting your information from Kanye and what's that Kardashian child name?
Kim.
Don't be getting any of them.
Yeah.
Don't be getting your relationship advice from people or celebrities on television.
Yes.
You need to find you some people, and let's go there. I didn't plan on going there, but let's go there. Communication is best learned by communicating with someone you can trust about how you're communicating.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
If you have young men or if you have a good homeboy, now you can communicate, and I say a good homeboy, pastor, deacon, uncle, you can communicate about what you did without putting your lady out there. Mm-hmm. You can communicate about how you're communicating, how this make you feel. And they could be honest with you about where you are without getting into about who she is or she did this, because you don't want to put your lady out there in a negative light.
Yeah.
I think that it's just very important to be honest about where you are, how you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to damage your own relationship trying to get advice about how you should, operate. But sometimes you need to bounce something off of somebody without giving up your whole team strategy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Because you give up too much of your strategy, you don't want to look up one day and find out they scoring points.
Yeah.
I know that sounds terrible, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
That's why it's good. You don't want to entice nobody who's supposed to be mentoring you. You don't want to entice them. So I don't bring up, no kind of way. That's why I say if it's a family member or different things like that. And sometimes be careful of them. You letting help you with your communication. Recognize when they terrible. If they trash, stay away from them.
Look at their communication with others. That's the key, whether you should be taking notes or not.
Right. Jess, you are something else. Look at their relationship. Their resume is going to be how their relationship is.
How you going to get communication tips with somebody that's always...
I'm with you. I'm in this thing all the way there with you.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing. Listen, let's go ahead and move on, because this has been really, really good. This has been a great podcast about communication, its importance within the relationship. Jess, how do you feel about this? It's been pretty good to you?
I liked it. This was really good.
It's really good. And I know we're not done, because we could go all the way in on that communication within disagreements, conflict resolution, all that kind of stuff there. Mm-hmm. All right. So, just some key takeaway points from this. It's important. It's very important to have good communication. It is like everything to have great communication. Find ways to have great communication, even if that means reading something. Y'all read it together. Y'all be proactive on your relationship where you are with situations. If it's some kind of conflict, and especially when you see other things that have happened with other couples, y'all talk about it. What would we do in that situation? How would we navigate this? If you found out this, what would you think? How would you go? Or this, and be honest, and don't focus on it like they just coming up with a strategy.
Yeah.
I think Jess said it best with the vulnerability. That other person needs to create a safe space for you to be able to not be afraid to be vulnerable, to be open and honest. Both of you need to be open and honest with your trust, with where you are, and communicate with love. Think about what you said. If you wouldn't like that said to you, don't do that to nobody else. So we've got, and then continue to be a student of your spouse's communication, how they communicate, silently, verbally, non-verbally, how they communicate. And those are some, and you'll always win. You'll always be on top. So I'm really excited about what we did today. This is a really good podcast.
Really good.
Really good podcast. You think we can talk better now? Can we?
I guess so. I mean, why not?
Why your eyes shifty?
Because I never know what's going to happen.
Listen, if you get a chance, we want you to go by. Please rate, review, and subscribe to or follow the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, go by YouTube. We have Rock and Jess World Adventures, which goes into all of our trips and different things of that nature. Y'all get to see us have some fun. And we also have Rock and Jess World Podcast, which is now on YouTube.
Yay.
You all also get a chance. Please go by any of our social medias. We are Rock and Jess World on Facebook, on Instagram, and we are just Rock and Jess on Twitter. Also go by www.rockandjessworld.com. When you get a chance, we would love to hear from you. And on all of our YouTube videos, on all of our podcasts, we always leave a phone number there just in case you have a question. Some people don't like typing it down there. We want to hear from you, and we're excited about what's going on. Listen, this is communication. We want to meet you, want to hear from you, and y'all let us know your thoughts. Comment, subscribe to our channels, to everything. Do it all. We want to hear from you.
Everywhere.
We would love to hear from y'all. Communicate with us.
Communicate with us.
All right. So we're happy we letting y'all go. I'm Rock.
And I'm Jess.
And this is Rock and Jess World. We signing off. Bye.
Bye.